As part of Die Hard Christmas on Super Beanie Man Gaming, I've been taking a look back at Die Hard Trilogy on the PS1, which was essentially 3 games in one, based on the original 3 Die Hard movies. And in this third and final episode, I'm going to be taking a look at Die Hard with a Vengeance, which was the vehicle bomb defusal game where you had to drive around New York City, taking out bombs before they blew up. So this was a kind of fun game, but it was really hard, I thought. The time limits on the bombs was just bullshit at times, and it was definitely one that I only ever really completed using cheats. So this was a cool game, but it did lack one thing, that's for sure, and that was trophies, because this was a tough game and deserving of you getting some trophy rewards for your progress, and luckily I'm here to solve that problem. So if you've been watching the other videos, you would already know that I decided to split this up into 3 separate platinums, one for each of the Die Hards. So that means there are 3 platinums available to collect with just this one game, and that's kind of what I think they would have done back in the day. So now let's take a more detailed look at Die Hard 3's trophy list. So there is 1 platinum trophy available to get, obviously. There are 9 gold trophies to earn, 4 silver trophies to unlock, and 2 bronze trophies to collect, which matches up with the trophy amounts for the other 2 games. And I'd give this a platinum difficulty rating of 9 out of 10, because I do think this is a really hard game. So that's the trophy breakdown. Time to fire up the old PS1 and take a closer look at all of the trophies in the game and how you can unlock them. So we might as well start with the 2 bronze trophies that we can unlock, and these are pretty simple trophies that we can get, to be fair. They're not going to be too hard. First up is the Got a New Ride trophy, which just requires you to swap vehicles mid-level, and this is done by following the blue directional arrow on the radar and driving into a parking lot, which will automatically trigger a short cutscene where you change vehicles. Really, you just ram them and then the other car comes out. John and Zeus don't actually get out, so it's a bit weird. But you do that for the first time and you unlock that trophy. Next up is the bronze Well Done McClane trophy, which just requires you to complete the first level, which sounds quite simple, but it's actually quite tricky really, and you'll probably take a few continues before you complete that first level. It's definitely a challenge, and that's why I wanted to just reflect that with the Well Done trophy. So as soon as you complete the level and drive through towards the exit, on the results screen, the bronze Well Done McClane trophy will pop. So that is all the bronze trophies. Let's take a look at those 4 shiny silver trophies that we can get. So first up is the Hot Dog trophy, which requires you to take out the hot dog vendor bomb car in the 2nd level in Central Park. So about midway through the level you'll have a chase with a bomb car that you have to ram to destroy, and this is actually a hot dog vendor, which I thought was quite funny. So as soon as you destroy that bomb car, you'll unlock the silver hot dog trophy. Next up is the Aquaman trophy, which requires you to make it through the aqueduct level. Now this isn't the in between level bonus ones where you're chasing the truck. This is when you're actually in the truck driving it and you're sort of racing through the tunnel as it floods against all the other trucks. So as soon as you make it through this first level of this mode, you will unlock the silver Aquaman trophy. So it's more of a sort of story progression trophy than anything, because it's a simple level, but it was just a nice tie-in. So next up is the Call 911 trophy, which requires you to use an ambulance to cut through a load of traffic, and this is done by picking up the EMS bonus pickups that are scattered around some of the levels, and as soon as you do this, an ambulance will drive in front of you and basically just ram its way through traffic. So if you just follow behind it, you'll get this trophy. Next up is the Way Too Close trophy, which requires you to hit a bomb or a bomb car with just 1 second left on the clock. So you'll know you're getting really close because the clock hands will appear over the screen just to add to the tension. And if you can do it just as it's about to hit the time up, you'll get the Way Too Close trophy. And this is probably one you just naturally get as you're barreling through the game because the time limits are really tough. That's all the silver trophies. Let's take a look at the tougher gold trophies that we can earn in the game. So first up is the Please Let Me Drive, which requires you to wipe a lot of blood off the windscreen. And this is done by playing the game in the first person view, as when you run over civilians you will see the window wipers come up on screen to wipe up all the blood off of the screen. So if you just run over a lot of people, eventually you will get the trophy. So this is cumulative over a bunch of playthroughs, and it just requires you to run over a lot of people. So eventually you will just unlock this trophy. It's a nice little bonus one, I thought, because it's a cool little feature. It's quite gruesome as well, because John McClane is basically just killing people here and then just casually putting the window wipers on to clean the blood off the screen. So it's just a random thing for them to have added. And I just wanted to reflect that in the trophies. So once you've killed a whole lot of people and wiped a lot of blood off, you'll get the Please Let Me Drive gold trophy. Next up is Trash Talker. So Die Hard Trilogy 3 has a lot of bonus vehicles that you can find. Often ones are just lying in secret sort of parking lots that you have to drive to. One of which is on the first level. If you do a 180 and go the wrong way, you will eventually see a blue arrow appear on the radar, and if you follow that, it will lead you to a garbage truck. And by this point, once you've got in it, you probably won't have much time left, so I don't really know why it's there, because even though there's a couple of time pickups, there isn't really that many. I don't feel like there's enough really to get back to the bomb. But as soon as you get into this truck, you'll get the trophy. And this has to be in this level, not in the aqueduct level. You need to get it from the bonus parking lot in order to get the Trash Talker trophy. So next up we have 2 more gold trophies for secret vehicles that we can get, and the first is the John McClane Jr. trophy for driving the baby stroller. So this is basically just a pram that will drive around. It's really weird, and unfortunately the footage for this and the next gold trophy, Old School Hero, where you have to drive the school bus, got corrupted, so I don't actually have footage of these 2 unlocking, so I've just had to use a random picture of them from the internet. So apologies about that, but those are the 2 other gold trophies we can get for some of the other secret vehicles in the game. Next up is the Die Hard in Space trophy, which requires you to activate the flying saucer cheat, and this is done when you get to level 2 in Central Park. If you were to pause the game, scroll down to the quit option and hold down the R2 button, you then need to enter, I believe it's right square triangle down XXX, and it will activate this Roswell message, and it then triggers the cheat, which will unlock the gold trophy called Die Hard in Space, and this basically changes everything in the game. So now you will be driving a flying saucer, and you will have to chase down other flying saucers, and all of the civilians in the game that walk around are turned into these green sort of aliens. It's a really random cheat, and I just wanted to include that as part of the trophies because it's quite funny to see a UFO driving around Central Park, destroying other UFOs. So one of the weirdest things about Die Hard 3 for me is that when you take out the bombs, they still actually explode for some reason, and you'll often find that a load of civilians in the area will actually get killed by the bomb when you see the cinematic view. So even though you're saving the day, you're still killing people, and I wanted to reflect this weirdness in the trophy Bit Overkill Simon, which requires you to take out a bomb that actually takes out a bunch of civilians in the area. So if you get a bomb that kills a load of civilians in the area at once, you would unlock this trophy. Next up is the Extra Time trophy, which requires you to collect 500 time bonuses throughout the game. So this is cumulative over multiple playthroughs. It doesn't have to be done in a single go, and it's basically just the time pickups in yellow that are scattered around some of the levels, and often you'll find that there's a whole bunch of these in a row. So it's not just a case of getting one and then not having any for a while. There's often levels where there's a good bunch of 5 or 6, maybe even 10 in one area, so you'll soon pick up a lot of these as you're playing, and as soon as you get to 500 you'll unlock the gold Extra Time trophy. Next up is the Super Cop trophy, which requires you to use all of the power-ups. So this is the EMS, which is the one that triggers the ambulance to allow you to get through traffic. There's also the Boost pickup, which allows you to do a nitro sort of turbo, which will push your car really forward and make it just really uncontrollable and just really awkward to drive, and you'll often miss your corners, so they're not really that great. And then we've got the launch ability, which you'll see in some of the later levels, which just basically just catapults you up into the air. Often it's put in front of like a roadblock of maybe trucks or something like that, and you just fly over it really weirdly. So that's one of the other power-ups, and you'll see those a lot throughout some of the later levels. You have to sort of get those to get to where you need to get to the bomb, so they're one that you can't really miss. The other final power-up that we will have to collect for this trophy is the Nitro power-up. So you'll see this towards the sort of end of the game, maybe when you get to the New York streets where the sky is just weirdly black and it looks like the end of the world, but I think it's just trying to be nighttime. So these will just cause all sorts of chaos, as the car will just be on fire and you'll basically just explode every other car in the vicinity. So as soon as you get the last power up you need, you will unlock the gold Super Cop trophy for your troubles. Okay, so the next one is the gold Simon Says Bye Bye trophy, which just requires you to complete Die Hard Trilogy 3, which is by no means an easy task, as this is a really tough game, and I definitely recommend you using the Infinite Lives cheat just to make it a lot easier on yourselves. So the final level takes place in, I would say, sort of like a sort of docks, sort of pier sort of area at night, by like the trains are there as well. And basically you have to chase Simon Gruber, who is flying around in a helicopter, and you have to use the launch ability to jump up with the car and attack him, kind of like the move you do in Die Hard 4. So as soon as you take Gruber out and you see the game completed screen, you will unlock the gold trophy. And of course, if that's the last trophy you need, you will then unlock the platinum trophy called Hey Holly, It's John. And I called it that because at the very end of the film, Zeus gives John some coins so he can use the nearby payphone to phone his wife Holly. So he's kind of getting back in touch with her and trying to reconcile with her. So I thought that would be a good one to put in. So that is basically all of the trophies you can earn in Die Hard with a Vengeance as part of the Die Hard trilogy on PS1. And that is pretty much the end of it now. So if you've done that, you've now got all 3 platinums and you've finished all 3 games, and you'll get that nice little ending screen which comes up with the credits for the game. And that proves once and for all that you are a great player. And congrats if you've got all 3 platinum trophies for Die Hard Trilogy. So that brings me to the end of the Christmas with Die Hard on Super Beanie Man Gaming. And I must mention, Happy New Year everybody. I hope you've had a good time. But could you platinum this game, do you think? Could you platinum all 3 Die Hards? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, please remember to like and subscribe. It really does help me out. Coming up next is Toy Story 2. See you then.